Thanks for the invitation, for Rob and all the people from Next Money. I'm going to present a little bit for you about Brazil, and I'm going to ask the same question. How many of you have been in Brazil before? I think I'm going to lose this. Yeah, for sure. It's so far away from here. 30-hour flight to get here from Brazil to here, so here I am. Well, I am Bruno Diniz. I'm from Inequal Solutions, and we are a company, advisory company, and we help big financial institutions and also governmental bodies to approach and understand better the fintech ecosystem. So one of our clients, we work with MasterCard, Santander, the UKTI, and the government of Canada. So basically, that's what we do. I've been in the fintech segment in Brazil. I came from an investment banking background, and I've been fostering the fintech ecosystem, the local ecosystem, since 2015. And I've been running Next Money events back in Brazil, so I represent Next Money for Latin America as well. And then we started that on 2015 with events always in innovation space, such as WIDA, which is Telefonica Group Accelerator. Then we did the first FinTech conference in Brazil, which was São Paulo FinTech Summit. So it was a nice event hosted at Cubo, which is an accelerator by Itaú Bank, one of the largest banks in Brazil. And then we did another event in Oxigênio Accelerator, which is accelerator by Porto Seguro Group, which is a huge insurance company in Brazil. Then an event at IBM, and finally the last event, which was the semi-final event for FinTech Final. So we hosted the semi-final at Telefonica, and so we've been nurturing and getting together everybody from the whole country, the ecosystem to get and just to meet each other and do great stuff in Brazil. And we also have fostering and helping, supporting events just like Startup Weekend FinTech, hosted at our stock exchange, Bovespa. FinTech Venture Days at Santander, and SIAB FinTech Day, which is a large conference by the Banks Federation. Well, just to give you a grasp about what is the Brazilian market. So it's a very huge market. Brazil ranks 7th on the global scale in terms of GDP. So it's a large country, and it accounts for 50% of all South America GDP. So it's a very large country. And there's some interesting facts around fintech specifically, and about mobile and internet. So we got one of the highest fintech adoption rates in the world. 74% of bank customers adopt fintech services in Brazil. And in Brazil, we have only half of the 200 million inhabitants are online in Brazil. So we got a huge gap. And 55% million adults in Brazil don't have a bank account, so we have a lot of space for financial inclusion there. Mobile penetration is above 150%. We have more phones than people in Brazil. And more than 4% of the population remain excluded from the bank system, the traditional banking system. So we got a lot of contrasts, but we also got a very engaged population when you talk about mobile and stuff like that. And there's another interesting chart showing it's a rank by Compass Group. It's Global Startup Ecosystem Ranking from 2015, and it ranks São Paulo as 12th as one of the best cities to start a startup. So that's due to resources, to qualified people, all the stuff. And so it puts São Paulo in the first place when you look at Latin America as a whole. So in Brazil, we have some figures about our fintech landscape there. We have more than 200 fintechs in Brazil. So it's a new ecosystem, but we have a lot of nice initiatives there. 7% of those companies are fully operational. 25 have more than 20 employees. and 31% seeks internationalization, despite we have a very large internal demand. 77% are interested in establishing partnerships with banks and other financial institutions. And most of the companies are focused on the payment side. So 31% startups, they really focus on payments. We have a good space to just like in the insurance segment, with the Bitcoin also and blockchain services. So we are increasing in these segments, sub-segments inside the fintech. And talk a little bit about the regulatory landscape. In Brazil, we got some strict rules around that. So due to the regulation, all the digital lenders in Brazil, they got to operate alongside with financial institution already established. So many of them right now are coming and running to financial institutions to operate, just like Landico, for example, that partnered up with a company, bank called Banco BMG in Brazil. So it's a lot of opportunity for both sides, the opportunities for the fintechs and opportunities for this medium-sized financial institutions to really get an edge comparing to the large financial institutions in Brazil. Recently, we have this interesting case from Banco Original, which is a neobank in Brazil. They just, after they lobbied a lot and they got this possibility of online account opening, something that the regulators just didn't want to happen, and then they helped pave the way for other startups and other banks to have an online account opening. And there is another bank, another fintech, interesting, called Neon Bank, and they are a fintech. They got a nice technology, a nice customer experience, and they partnered up with a medium-sized bank. Because it's a win-win situation. You got the fintech, and they need a banking license, and they are partnering up with medium-sized banks to do so, to operate. We got some large financial institutions, and many of them are launching their own programs. So I got a chart here with some of them and how they are positioning themselves in the segment. In hackathons and startup weekends, we have XP Investments, our local stock exchange, Mastercard, Banco do Brasil, which is a large financial institution in our country, and Santander. They all worked and did it, hackathons. We also have Visa and Banco do Brasil with innovation labs. They launched their own innovation labs in Brazil. Those three companies launched their own acceleration program and their co-working spaces. Bradesco, which is a large bank, and Itaú, and Porto Seguro, which is a large insurance player. And in the corporate venturing side, which is the last mile for interaction between fintechs and financial institutions, we have Bradesco, which is a large institution. They launched their own corporate venture arm. And also we have Santander that got the InnoVentures fund, and so they are also searching for opportunities in Brazil. And let me present you some of the rising stars from Brazil. So there are three interesting companies. I think the most interesting one is Nubank. Nubank is just like, they provide a new banking experience with their card. They are basically a credit card, but they got a huge legion of brand lovers. They are different from everything that we have in the Brazilian banking system. So it's upon invitation only that you can have their card, and people go crazy about that. They were founded in 2013, already got a financing round from 52 million by Founders Fund, and recently in December, 80 million in a Series D by DST Global, their first investment in South America, in Brazil. They are about in a valuation of 500 million around by now. The other two interesting companies are Guia Bolso, which is a company that they consolidate all the bank statements that you have in different financial institutions. and they give you this information and help you out on how to manage your money. They got an interesting base of investors. They were founded in 2014, and the most recent round was led by the IFC. And then we have Bank Fácil, which is another, it's a digital lender. They do collateralized debt. So basically, they were founded in 2012 and raised 25 million recently by Kazakh Ventures for Argentina. Well, the opportunities that we got in Brazil in this space, basically I have some opinions. First is neobanks. We have some large financial institutions, large banks, just like 5 large banks in Brazil. But I believe that there is possibility for companies from outside and new companies, new startups providing different banking experiences in Brazil. And they can do that by partnering up with medium-sized banks in Brazil. Financial inclusion, as we have a huge gap on financial inclusion, I pretty much believe that is something that can be addressed by some fintechs. Digital lending platforms, specifically when you talk about SMEs that got difficult access to credit. In Brazil, we only have 2 companies, 2 platforms focused on that. And then we have InsurTech that I really believe that's going to increase new experiences and new companies addressing that and making life simpler when you talk about insurance, basically. Well, that's my contacts. Bruno Diniz, you can talk to me and then we can chat a little bit about Brazil and the trends we're going to have there. Thank you.